It's time for March Madness. Well, not really. We still have to get to March, get to the tournament. Players in, teams in, players in, teams out, players out. Regular season, though, it's done, at least in the Big 12. And we have a regular season champion, Baylor. And we have our Big 12 championship brackets set. Oklahoma's bracket includes the aforementioned number 1 seed Baylor Bears, themselves, Oklahoma, the surprise team in the league besides OU, and that would be the Kansas Jayhawks, and the 7-10 game West Virginia, and the 10 seed TCU. We'll preview Oklahoma's half of the Big 12 bracket, women's edition. Coming up next, Boomer Sooner 1982. Don't you dare go away! To my Big 12 preview show, everybody, on the women's edition of the Big 12. My name's Harry James. We'll start the women's Big 12 bracket at the tip of the top, the cream of the crop. They're back, and they're probably better than ever now. They hit their stride. They hit some strides early, but late came back strong for head coach Nikki Collins, and that would be the number 1 seed. The first overall seed, at least in the Big 12 championships, that's the Baylor Bears. 24-5, 14-4 in Big 12 play this season. Their best win this year at Iowa State. Got them in Ames, 87-62 win there. Their head coach, Nikki Collins, a 1997 graduate from Marquette University, and is in her first season in charge of the women of Waco. Well, getting back to the number 1 overall seed, not easy for Baylor this year. They have their lumps, they have their bumps, but they still have 2 division leading scorers on their team, averaging at least double digits, and that would be one Nalesia Smith and Jordan Lewis. She wears number 3 for Baylor. We'll start with one Nalesia Smith, averaging 21.8 points per ball game, 11.7 boards, 1.2 assists per ball game, playing in 22 of the 23 games this year. Or 22 of the, 29 games? Now, 23 of the 29 games but that belonged to Jordan Lewis. She played in a couple more games, averaging 12.1 points per ball game, 3.4 boards, and 5.3 assists per ball game. As we said, playing in 23 games. The next best seed, the number 4 seed. And that's our Oklahoma OU Sooners, baby! What an improvement! Back to the top of the conference. 23-7, 12-6 in Big 12 play this year. They were one of the few teams that did hand Baylor two of their 4 conference losses, Their most recent one at Baylor, Sooner fans might remember this one, 78-77. Big time when they're in Waco during an ice storm. Their head coach, Jenny Bronchek, a 2004 grad from the University of Iowa, and is in their first season in charge of Oklahoma. Scoring leaders: 25 Maddie Williams, 30 Taylor Robertson. Both of those players score double figures for the Sooners. They're getting them back to where they should be. We'll start with 25 Maddie Williams, averaging 18 points per ball game, 7.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists per ball game, playing in 28 games this season. Taylor Robertson averages 17 points per ball game, 9.4 boards, and 3.1 assists per ball game, playing in 29 of the 30 games this season for the Sooners of Oklahoma. Their next best team is a rubber game. It's a rubber game between Oklahoma and Kansas. Kansas just confirmed that by beating the Sooners. So Sooners looking for a little bit of revenge over the improving Kansas Jayhawks. 5th seed in the women's show, which not too bad considering who Kansas has been in the past. They do have a 20-8 overall record, 11-7 in Big 12 play, including a win in Austin, 70-66 in overtime over the Shorthorns. Their head coach is Brandon Snyder, 1995 grad from Wayland Baptist University, and is in his 7th season in charge of the Rock Chalk Jayhawks. Leading scorers Kelly Kersager and Keziah Franklin. Holly Kaisager first, averaging 13.9 points per ball game, 4.5 boards, 1.9 assists per ball game, playing in 26 of the 28 games this time. While Zakiah Franklin played in 27 of the 28 games, averaging 12.0 points per ball game, 3.1 boards, 4.0 assists per ball game for the Jayhawks. So that's 1, 4, and 5. Those are the top seeds. Now we go to play-in Saturday. The two teams on play-in Saturday, the 7th seed and the 10th seed. We'll go with the 7th seed first. That 7th seed West Virginia. Straight dead even. 14-14 collision course overall. 11-7, 7-11 in Big 12 play. Their best win this year is over Kansas State. A 72-62 victory there in double overtime. Their head coach is Mike Carey, a 1980 grad from Salem University, and is in his 21st year in charge of Morgantown and West Virginia. Helping them get back there, number 12, Esmery Martinez, and 23, Kirsten Dean, both doing their parts. Esmery Martinez played in 26 of the 28 games this year, averaging 11.2 points per ball game, 8.7 boards, and 1.6 assists per ball game. While Kirsten Dean's played in 27 of the 28 games this year, averaging 9.0 points per ball game, 2.4 boards, 4.3 assists per ball game, playing in, as we said, 27 games this year for the Mountain Women of West Virginia. And we'll finally, the final seed in this conference, the 10 seed Baylor, TCU Horned Frogs. The Horned Frogs, 6-21, 2-16 in Big 12 play. Their last major win was against Texas Tech, with a big free throw win there, 51-50. Their head coach, Reagan Pabley, is a 1997 grad from Colorado, is in her 8th year in charge of TCU. Two players coming in, 2 players are on this team averaging double figures for the Frogs, including Lauren Hurd, number 25 Lauren Hurd, and 30 Akeo Adike. We'll start with 25 Lauren Hurd, averaging 14.9 points per ball game, 5.8 boards, 4.0 assists per ball game in 26 games. Well, also playing in 26 games was Ayoka Attica, averaging 9.9 points per ball game, 5.0 boards, 1.3 assists per ball game. As we said, playing in 26 of the 27 games this year for the TCU Horned Frogs. All right, guys, that'll wrap this Big 12 championship up and ship it off to the producer. My name is Harry James. Catch this and all my other videos on the YouTube, Boomer Center 1982. Also, Facebook, Harry James Taylor, or on the Twitter handle, @HypeManHarry. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and Boomer Center, everybody. I'm out of here. Peace!